What's good? Welcome to First Stream Podcast. On today's episode of First Stream Podcast, we're going to talk about the tweaks of the Washington Commanders uniforms. It's a lot of speculation. No one knows what's really going on with the uniforms. A lot of people are saying it may be a name change coming, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the tweaks that you would like to see today. Also on First Stream Podcast, we got a discussion of who needs to have an outstanding season in the NFC East. I'm talking Giants, Cowboys, Commanders, and Philadelphia Eagles. Plus, it's Black History Month. Pick has a little something for you on the end. I hope y'all are ready. Y'all know what time it is. Let's go.
It's wartime, baby. This is what you signed up for. This is what we worked hard for. You for. Y'all the first string. Y'all got to go set the tone now. Hey, let's go. Lace them up. It's the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Cause it's time for the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. Lace them up, it's the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the First String Podcast Show. Imagine talking sports, having fun with the fam. At a starting line, the first string is what you have. An entertaining stream with the Pro Bowl cast. When the viewers chime in, they gon' answer what you ask. Representing for the Queens, yeah, we got Lady A. A super knowledgeable woman who can break down any play. Said from the South, so he rep GA. The Falcons, the Bulldogs, the whole Peach State. Drunk Uncle Al, only way you can describe him. Every time he crack the mic, you know he gon' be wildin'. Last but not least, it's my man Toothpick. Commanders is a squad and he the captain of the ship. So if you feel the vibe, go ahead and tune in. Like, subscribe, recommend to a friend. Nah, for real, like, subscribe, and recommend this to a friend. Hey, let's go. Cause it's time for the First String Podcast Show.
Welcome back to First Stream Podcast. Make sure that you like and subscribe to First Stream Podcast. Give us that good thumbs up. Hit the bell to enable alerts for new content just like this. And the most important part is that you tell a friend to tell a friend about First Stream Podcast. That way we continue to grow and we can continue to bring you this good sports talk. Now, the squad's backstage. It's time to bring them in. Let's talk to the Bulldog himself. Sid, how you doing, man?
What's going on, my brother? How you doing today?
I am fine. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. Are you ready for this Saturday show?
For sure.
All right. Now, listen. Sometimes HR is in a good mood, and they may let things slide. The last episode we did, we tried to get through without no fines. Here we go. Let's talk about it. No fines. Lady A, how are you doing?
There will always be fines. The only way there won't be fines is if everyone is in one accord and does what they should be doing.
I like how you talking. So I'm going to say this. The only fine on this show is you. How about that?
Sure. I'm fining.
What? No. Another kind of fine. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Sweet talking somebody is not going to keep you from getting in trouble.
I was hoping it would do the job. Listen, everybody's in the chat right now. Make sure you guys hit that like button for us, okay? Hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up. We got Droop in the building, and Droop says, good evening to everyone.
Hey,
and
Droop.
Droop also reminded me that the Royal Rumble's on right now. I got to get that going on in my background right now.
And apparently of course, my mom is laughing at it.
And he said he has arrived. I got to get this Rumble on. I got to see this Rumble for real. All right. So y'all ready to get right to these topics?
Yeah.
Let's get to the money. Okay, listen. I want to start this conversation this way. This is not a unique thing. NFL teams tweak their uniforms every year.
Right.
Am I correct?
Right.
Just about.
I believe the Atlanta Falcons tweaked their uniforms. They had a uniform change. The prison break uniforms, right? The prison break uniforms.
I thought we was gonna be.
He's so
That's
petty.
what we gonna
He's
do.
so petty.
Okay.
No. I'm just saying. But they came back. They came back and they
These
tweaked them,
uniform
and
changes better be good. That's all
they
I'm
look
saying.
better. I'm just saying. They look
They
better.
better be
They look
good.
better, right?
He's so petty.
So I think that what the Commanders are going to do is try to
Mhm.
tie something like the old uniforms into the new uniforms, right? So can y'all tell me what's missing from this right here? Can y'all tell me what's missing from this uniform? What's missing from that uniform?
It's hard to see.
You talking about the DC?
No. Like if you
DC
look at
flag?
most NFL teams, they have a stripe down the side. Right? That's like a small detail that you get.
Not all the time, but they do
lot of
have it in their, like one of their uniforms will have a stripe. Yeah.
Right. I don't believe. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Lady A. The red pants don't have a stripe, right?
Mm-mm.
The yellow pants, as we can see, they don't have a stripe.
Mm-mm.
The white
Neither
pants
do the
don't have a
black.
stripe. Am I
No.
correct?
And the black doesn't either.
And the black doesn't either, because the black looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers knockoffs. If you put a stripe down on you, definitely going to look like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Maybe that's why they didn't put a stripe.
Maybe.
Why he's so shady today? I don't know what happened.
I'm not being shady. I'm just saying the simple
Hey,
thing
right off
to
the
do.
tip, ain't he?
I mean, y'all tell me. But the easiest thing to do to tie the pass in the future would be to change the colors, just to, tweak the colors,
Right.
add that stripe back down the side of that pants. Is it hard to go from the other uniform to this uniform? I'm just saying.
No, it's. I mean, we've had the same colors for years, so
Until
when you have
right.
the same color palette, it is difficult to try to do something drastic, I guess you would say.
Right.
With the exception of the black, because we never, but in a sense, you're adding another major color to the color palette.
Right.
So when we did the black, that was like a big thing. But then you got to keep in mind there are some superstitions that go along with uniforms. So at one point, we never won in the black uniforms.
Right. Not until this year, right?
Right, until the Hail Mary game. The Hail Mary game was a black uniform. So there are superstitions that go along with it. So I'm wondering how the final tweaks to the uniform are going to be received by leadership, the fans, the whole nine.
Right.
Well, everyone knows that the easiest way to tie, I'm going to say, for me, the easiest way to tie the old and the past is to get the colors correct, because that burgundy doesn't fully match the burgundy that we wore. And then the other thing to tie the past to the present would be, when we're at home, reverse these uniforms. Reverse that uniform.
It was a white jersey and
white jersey, burgundy pants.
Yeah.
Right? White jersey, burgundy pants.
With the stripe.
With the stripe. With the stripe. With the stripe. I don't know. Y'all tell me.
Said, I know you don't like it, but that is what they wore back in the day.
Said, remember?
Wore.
The two legit game, the seat cushion game? Y'all, what color jerseys did y'all have on when y'all came up to DC?
Man, they had the uniforms.
Oh.
Huh?
With the faded red.
No. Not this year. I'm talking about remember the seat cushion game. It was a playoff game. Y'all had Jerry Glanville.
A very long time ago.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
We had our white jerseys on. Y'all had y'all black jerseys on.
That's when we still had Dion.
Yep.
That's before Dion then bounced around to everybody.
Yeah. That's when Dion walked around with all that jewelry on.
No shade.
I don't blame him.
Look at your boy. He says the burgundy doesn't match what and where we're at.
Look like Arizona. They darkened the burgundy, and from what I hear, this is just through the rumor mill. When the new leadership came in, I heard that they weren't fond of the uniforms.
Right.
And it's important to know that Josh Harris is a lifelong fan, so he may miss the uniforms of the past. So yeah, we'll see. But they did change the burgundy. They made it a darker burgundy, kind of. On the white ones, it just looks like red. It doesn't look like burgundy, it looks like red or maroon, you know.
Well, I think one of the things that is important too is that you don't feel as if you alienated everyone. Now, a lot of the alumni, former players came back, but one that's missing that didn't come back and you haven't seen, war number 44. And he said that when they had the new uniforms on 2/2/22, he felt like he didn't know the team anymore.
Yeah.
That like they severed ties with him. And I think this is a way to bring back those greats. You know what I mean? John Riggins. You know, Art Monk is back, but we haven't seen Art. You know what I mean? Daryl Green is back. We see Daryl.
Well, Art Monk he's there. He's just he's at the games. He is. Even especially on the alumni weekend, he's usually there and speaking. But in truth, when you're at a Commanders game, and you've been to a few, you know, since we've switched over, when the fans are in the stands wearing the jersey, it does look like if you have an old jersey and a new jersey, it does look like you're representing two different teams.
Yes. Listen, my man,
Thanks,
Louis, listen, you are welcome to come back here. We're going to talk some NFC East here. So please feel free to keep jumping in the chat. Thank you for saying we have a good one under center. He has accelerated our timeline. Our next topic is about the NFC East. Sid, can you tell us about some of the things that the Atlanta Falcons have done to their uniforms here a little bit?
This year, I mean, they just changed the color palette on some of the ones that they've done. And some of the home games, they've been pushing for them to go back to the red and black, you know, red top, black bottoms. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Some people even ask for the black on black.
Yeah,
that didn't happen, even though we pushed for that. I mean, they're doing very, very few pieces here and there, very few tweaks. I just really didn't like the one uniform that came up with that reminded me of the movie.
He talking that what is it? The Longest Yard.
The longest, remind me of the movie.
Longest Yard uniform.
I felt some type of way when I seen the uniform that looked like that, because I was like, really?
Yeah.
I got you, John. To take the truth, one of the things that another thing that people are saying is something with the logo, right? They have to do something with the logo. My favorite logo is this one right here, the R. Can you imagine that being part of a tweak, putting a W there
in that font?
Right, in a different font, putting that W there, going back with a classic look. You know, you don't have to change the uniform all the way up. Add the piping on the side, the shoulder pads. It's a good look. This uniform has grown on me. It has really, really grown on me. But it's like it's missing a stripe. And then give me my two white stripes on the side of that helmet over top of them yellow stripe over, you know what I mean?
Right.
My 3 stripes in the middle, and we might have something cooking. We might have
so
something.
Let me say something, Pick, about the R that you were referring to. That is a certain type of type font, right?
Right.
And number one, you got to remember, if they went to that, they have to trademark that logo, because the type font that they're using for the W is one logo. That technically would be a whole different logo. That's number one. And number two, that type font isn't quite used a lot anymore, and a lot of people consider it dated. So if you're trying to go through for a nostalgic feel or something like that, yeah. But I don't think that you can use more than one logo in a season. So if they haven't already type font that, then it's not going to happen. I mean, trademark that, then it's not going to happen. But if they choose to trademark it, that's one thing. That's a whole nother thing. But I think that, you know how sometimes the NBA allows a throwback jersey?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like, while we're sitting here talking about, I feel like the NFL should allow that from time to time. I understand some teams have changed their name, and, you know, it may get confusing because we really don't have that many games compared to the NBA. But I think that they should at least allow a throwback looking jersey um, for every at least one game a year.
Yeah. For us
Okay.
to go and change this, and I'm Mike H here. Mike H said we beat Atlanta in the black a couple of years ago. Mike, that Daniels jersey is the number one jersey in the NFL. It's the number one jersey in the NFL. So if we absolutely go and change, add something different, change up a couple of things, get the color right, it's more merch to be sold, right?
Hmm.
And I don't think that Josh Harris and his group, I don't think that they're a money hungry group. I just think that they are trying to get back to something that looked like the old team,
Yeah.
and that's their end goal is to not have an era that doesn't mesh well with the past,
Yeah.
right? They want to tie these two eras. I think they understood the people that came in and did different things, sort of missed the boat on our uniforms.
Yeah. Well,
What's John say here, Lady A? Oh, go ahead.
no, I just wanted to point out that we actually have had a very close burgundy before. If anyone remembers those 75th anniversary jerseys that they had, that was actually a darker burgundy. So it wasn't red, but it was a really dark burgundy. And I really like those jerseys. I don't know if you remember I think pick one of the ones you had might have been the 75th because it had the arrow on it.
Let me get. I got you, John. I'm gonna get your comment read. You talking about this one?
I don't think that's the one. That's not the one I'm talking about. But there is
Okay.
a 75th. I think it was
Oh, I have it.
75th.
Yeah, no, I have it. I have it. Give me a second. I'll pull it up. Give me a second. I'll pull it up.
Okay.
I know which one you're talking about.
We
So
can while you're doing that, we can read John's. Um, which one did you put up for John? Okay. John says, I actually would prefer to keep the W logo on the side and put three stripes on the helmet. Switch to the Chief white calf logo for throwback week, and that's already been approved. You have a good point. That logo has been uncanceled for those who don't know. Um, the former logo that we had was a real life person who sat for that. He was a
yep.
chief, and they sketched it out. He was very proud to represent an NFL team, so they have uncanceled that particular logo. So that's true. And I do think that, John, to your point, we could do that, for a throwback, weekend.
Uh,
They
this
did they the Titans were the Oilers. I don't remember. I guess I don't pay attention to the Titans enough, but
we'll have to ask Al that question. We'll have to ask Al because he pays attention to the Titans.
right.
So we'll have to ask Al that one. Because though I see Mike H said NFL shop sells the Sean Taylor jersey with the
Hmm.
logo on it. Just a
Yeah.
matter of time.
Yeah. Right, because a lot of these players, if you want a throwback jersey, these players were not Commanders. They've never been Commanders. They were
Absolutely.
Redskins. So, um, that is the drawback from changing a name and a logo and canceling a name and a logo is that you can't really celebrate the players in the past. So,
Yeah, he says honestly, the Washington football team jerseys are closer to the previous shade of burgundy. Nike should still have that color scheme
yeah,
since it was just a few years ago. And he said the Chiefs are the Commanders. I got something to show.
that's true. I don't think they picked me to do that. 'Cause he was in mid sentence.
It was a mid sentence.
Yeah. But the chief is a commander, John. You're right. And then we have Louis. I joined late, so didn't get to hear. But do you all want them to go back to Redskins, or what would you like to see? Um, I'm kind of torn. By that, I would be the first one to tell you guys I did not like the Commander's name. I didn't like it. I think we were on here. See, it wasn't I like opposed to it, and
Yes.
it's I was like, for all that, you could have kept watching the football team. I was mad.
Man, listen. Okay, so here's the my bad. Here's the Commander's jersey, right?
Mhm.
If you look at this color, and like John said just now, here's the Washington football team's jersey.
Yeah.
So it's literally it's messed up. You could like
It's crazy, Pick. I think your camera is not right. It looks like the same color
it's
on your
dark.
camera.
It does.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you can see it is a little bit darker.
It's
It's darker.
darker, but it's
It is a
like
little bit darker. You can see it.
it looked like one wash away.
Yeah, but you can't see the ones darker than the other.
Yeah.
One is darker than the other.
But I
You
know
can't
for
see
a
that.
fact
You
that
can't see
in
one's darker
person
than
it
the other,
is darker. Like I know that.
And just bring back these right here. Just bring back
the stripes. Yeah.
bring back the stripes. Put them
Especially on
there.
the sleeve. That was a thing. Yeah. That's how you could tell that someone had on the Redskin jersey is those stripes on the sleeve. You know.
I mean, you got your 3 here on the Commanders, right?
Mhm.
On the Commanders one.
Yeah.
Like, that ain't this.
It does, Mike. Mike, it does. Somebody else said that too earlier. That
The white jerseys are terrible too. You want to see the white jerseys?
They look like the Arizona Cardinals. It does. And then our black jerseys look like the Steelers. So it's like, because we can never play the Steelers in the black jersey. we can't play the Cardinals in our white jersey because that's too much confusion. Yeah, it is right there.
Now this is totally terrible, but
there's no gold. That's what I have an issue with. There's no gold.
This little piece right here is what got us to the black uniforms, right?
Well,
the trim.
No, we have black uniforms
because you're black, right? But you have to have black in some uniform in order to wear it. So that's why the black is here, right? And then this one here, this is supposed to be these diamonds that are in the number. It's supposed to be the shape of the District of Columbia, but it's not. It's really not. So did they mess up on this? Absolutely, they messed up on this.
I think that they put a lot of attention to that because hold that up. Because look at the neck. You have the 3 stars. For those who don't know, the 3 stars are the DC flag has 3 stars. Yep. So it's like they put a lot of attention into certain things with these logos. And keep in mind that Pick, if you turn that around, the team logo, we do have, that's our alternate logo right there. We have the W, and we have that. So it's they put so much effort into it, and it's so much like they've done to make it legal, right? So how do you go back and what do you do?
Here's a fun fact. I just now noticed that that's black too.
Yeah. Yes.
I've never noticed that. That's crazy.
It's just okay. So for those who don't know, I'm a marketing professional, right? And there's so much that goes into creating something, like as far as a marketing tactic, or there's color theory that you can use. There's a lot of different things. So the people who were making the decision were probably thinking more so on the design, and I want to do this and I want to do that, and being artistic. But you have to be artistic in respect to the organization and what the organization stands for. If you want to sell a good jersey, so you have to kind of understand the sports aspect of it. You also have to understand the team's history of it. So in order to sell a good jersey, you have to create something that the fans will like. So yes, attention to detail would be great. But if you've missed some major marks, then what do we do? You know?
And that's what they did. So here's the other thing that someone asked about in the chat. Are we going back to the name Redskins? Well, the NFL has a rule. The NFL has a rule that before you make any other changes, big major changes to your uniforms, to your name, rebranding, anything like that, you have to wait 5 years. Well, 2/2/22, which means that we go at 2/2/23, 27 would be those 5 years, and we would be able to go to a new name. However, there's this little teeny blurb in those instructions which says if you have a resale or if your team is sold new ownership, you can rebrand. So that may be what Harris and Rails and those guys are thinking about. But the good news is we'll never hear about it, right? It won't be fan votes and things like that. It'll just be, hey, here we are. This is what we're going to be. And those guys are super fans as well.
Yeah. And to your point, Pick, you know, like I said, they came in saying, you know, kind of off the record, but on the record that they weren't a fan. And keep in mind, it requires a lot of money as well.
Yeah, it does. And
it
he dropped $6 billion.
Lot of money. Yeah.
He dropped $6 billion. Yeah. Going back to Redskins.
Stadium, we need so many things. So is that first one? And he said that when he first came in, before he said anything about, you know, acknowledging the name change, he said there's so much that we need to do right now before we even discuss it.
Wait. Ron said this. Ron, I saw Ron's comment. I saw it and I was like, okay, hold on, wait. He says let Jaden pick the uniform. He deserves it. He says,
Jaden is many things, but I don't think that would be a good idea.
I like this idea here. Warriors or Braves, who knows? Red Hogs may still be out there. Warriors, I don't know. We all know that Dan Snyder didn't have that much money to change the name, but we didn't want to get into name talk. We wanted to absolutely just ultimately talk about what tweak you thought the uniforms would be. Would it be something to the helmet? Would it be something to the jerseys or something to the pants? Please put your answers in the chat for us right now. It's going to be a small tweak. Is it the color going back correctly? Let us know what you think. All right. We're going to shift topics a little bit here. Okay. We're going to shift topics. We are talking football. The division is everybody's in Cancun except for one team. That would be the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles are in the Super Bowl for the second time in like five years. Is it 5 years that they're in there?
No, not 5. Isn't it the third time in 5 years?
The second time. Well, third time in 5 years, I believe. Something like that. We got a Philly fan in here. Lewis, what is it? Is it the second time in 6-7 years? What is it, Lewis? Tell us what it is. All right. So everyone else is in full off-season mode. And our question is this. 2 out of 4. Okay. Our question is this. Who in the NFC East needs to have an amazing offseason to get back on track? Because this thing is about to cook. I mean, we have solid quarterback play in the East, right? Well, most teams, 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 teams have solid quarterback play. So which team do you feel needs to have an amazing offseason and get some things right so that the East is dominant from top to bottom? And please rank them. Tell me 1 through 4. Lady A, I know you're ready. Go ahead and tell us your order and who needs to have that most amazing offseason.
So first of all, we have many petty people in the chat, and you guys are hilarious. Just want to let you guys know. So thank you guys in the chat with all of your shade, okay? But I think it's not hard to see that the Giants are the main team that needs to get it together. They have been the bottom. You know, like they have number 4 is what it's like they're permanently want to be that. So the Giants really need to get it together. I mean, I don't want to say just throw the whole team, but I do want to say just throw the whole team away. So then obviously we've talked about the Cowboys so many times. Their owner is literally their downfall. You know, the owner he makes decisions.
He sure is.
Off of whatever he wants to do. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's just like, oh, let's try this, let's try that. And there doesn't seem to be any logic to it. So the Cowboys, obviously the Commanders, I feel like the current ranking is where we are with that. The Cowboys, and then ahead of them would be the Commanders. There's some things that we do need to do. Obviously we've done some things. You look at the 23 season to the 24 season, many changes were made, and they've all been very good changes to take the team from completely losing, just looking awful, to playing in the NFC Championship the very next year. That's pretty good. And then let's talk about the Eagles. They're not new to the Super Bowl. You know, they've only had one Super Bowl, and that's been in recent times. So historically, the team is not used to the Super Bowl. However, in recent years, they've stepped it up,
Yeah.
but their issue is everybody else's issue, the Chiefs. That's what it is. I do feel like the NFC East right now is such a strong division that you have to like look at the NFC Championship with two NFC East teams, and
Yep.
that's something to be proud of. You know, um, I'm not going to name any names, but we had a chance to go to the playoffs. We had a chance to have four NFC East teams, all four teams, play in the playoffs. One coach in particular fumbled the ball, literally. Um, and it didn't happen that way. But this is in recent years. There used to be a time when the NFC East was feared. And right now, they're fearing us again. And so I feel like the NFC East is a strong division. You know, we talk about the black and blue division and things like that. The East is something to talk about. We have, just my team alone, we will ruin a streak, honey. We will you got that 11 game streak. I don't care how bad we are, we about to ruin it.
Yep.
So I do feel as though, it's a very strong division. And I just think everyone has to step it up. But obviously, some teams more than others have a few more steps to take.
Hey, Mike H is on to something here. He says Roseman versus Peters skins. Eagles are going to be big rivals moving forward. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
Howie Roseman is a genius, right? But this year, I think Adam Peters literally is probably going to win the Executive of the Year. For what he did, bringing in all those free agents, changing the culture
Yeah.
of the Washington Commanders, and no one saw 12 wins coming. Brian Mitchell didn't see 12 wins coming because my man had to wear a tutu. Well, yeah, we called it 11 and 12. We did.
Right.
We
I
did.
was gonna say.
Said thought we was on something. He's like, y'all been on them gummies again.
Yep.
He said, y'all been on them gummies again. But
I ain't had no gummies. I don't do that.
But Lady A was pretty. She was the closest though. I think she picked 12 wins.
All right. Said you look at this division and you got your second team in here. You got your second team in the East, the Philly Bulldogs. So go ahead and rack the East for us real fast, please.
For sure. Come on now. Let's be realistic. What's going on here? Right now in y'all division, Philly's the team to beat. This is the second year of all of the national championship team defense coming to flourishing. They are who they thought they were. I mean, let's be realistic. A lot of people laughed at the Philadelphia GM as he made those picks. Yeah. I'm a Florida fan. At least I'm a Florida graduate, and I'm out here picking Georgia Bulldogs. They laughed at that dude. But in reality is he could see the potential in what they had.
Yep.
I'm putting Philly in first place right now. They're right now they're more the complete team in this division. With the wide receivers, the defensive line, they do need a little heavy cornerback. There maybe one offensive lineman, but other than that, they need a speedster. Get a speedster in there, and there's no telling. Hold on.
Yeah.
So up here.
I don't want them to, but you're right.
If they get a speedster, somebody who can take the top off, they're going to be a hard team to adjust to. And then you have to put Washington next. You have to, after what we've seen this past year, you have to put them in the second position. They've figured out the quarterback position. Now they have to adjust the offensive line. They need. Y'all need 1 or 2 pieces of offensive line.
Yeah.
Maybe 1, maybe 2. Some of the guys are getting older. Maybe you have to build some depth. Need a similar to the Falcons. You need a pass rusher off the edge. You need someone coming off the edge. We've seen him try to use what's his name, Louvu. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Frankie Louvu.
They try to use Louvu similar to Parsons in Dallas to give them extra pass rush to get in there and do the thing. It had worked at times, which is cool. Again, you need somebody opposite, Scary Terry, who's going to scare them as well with the ability to catch the ball when they're supposed to catch the ball. And that's what you need.
Yeah.
Like I said, defensively, you need somebody off the edge, maybe 1 cornerback, maybe 2. We'll go 1 cornerback for now. Third is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott's coming off an injury, but he's Dak Prescott. He has CeeDee Lamb. He has a certified number 1. They got a decent running back. They got decent defense. They got decent offensive line. Them guys got another year. Decent offensive line. Whether or not Dak shows up, whoever the offensive coordinator is for next year, because the system could be completely different. We saw how Joe Brady transformed Buffalo. One offensive coordinator to Joe Brady, and with the exception of the AFC Championship game, they would beat people across the head. Nobody had any answer for Buffalo, so you never know. An offensive coordinator could change a team that was already primed into a bigger team. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to see the Cowboys win no way. And last but not least, it's going to be the New York Giants. They have questions. They have the number 1 question, quarterback. Who are they going to draft? There are 3 or 4 in this draft. They have a pickup. There are 3 or 4 in the draft. They have a pickup. Quarterback off the top. You have a number 1. You don't have any help. You don't have any help with it. Tight end. Definitely offensive line.
Yep.
You got the young man at running back. I'm sorry, I don't know his name off the top of my head. Problem is he fumbles. So you need somebody to spare him a little time, give him a few carries. He's gonna give a few carries. Defensively, y'all have defensive pieces on each side of the edge. I'm sorry, not y'all, but the Giants have two defensive ends, Ojulari and I can't think of the boy's name. The one that went to Oregon. Anyway, they have on the defensive end, you have those 2 pieces. You have old boy in the middle, the one who like rubbing his stomach all the time. Him. So the back end is where they're gonna struggle at. They're cornerbacks, they safeties. So right now the Giants are in a real rebuild mode from where they are. They need pieces, but number 1 piece off the top, they gotta find a quarterback.
Sure.
And reports are, they really like Shador.
So pretty much I'm hearing that you're like me, just throw the whole team away.
Shade.
That's what I heard.
You got to be nice to our Giants fans that are here.
But I'm sure they feel the same way. When we were going through our struggles, I said it then. Like, I'll just throw the whole thing away. Ownership and everything.
You got to do what you got to do. All right, for me, I'm going to say it like this. I think that all of these teams are building themselves the right way. It starts with the offense and defensive line. Philly's ahead of everybody. So you have to stack your team to beat Philly, to win the East, right? That's what you got to do. The Dallas Cowboys had an amazing line for such a long time. They haven't reinvested in it, and they need to reinvest in that offensive line to protect Dak. But most importantly, they need a running game. They need a running game, and they need a legit number 2 wide receiver to go with CeeDee Lamb. They're going to score some points if that happens. You got to have a legit running back. We saw this year is the the resurgence of the running back. No need to say Saquon going over 2,000 yards. You had Gibbs and Montgomery, 1-2 punch in Detroit. Don't forget about Green Bay and Jones out there. Minnesota had a running game. The top teams this year had a running game to lean on. So here we go. Philly is absolutely number one. And what does Philly need to do? Philly needs to just reinforce their team. Howie Roseman will find a way to do it, to get more resources in there and take care of them big boys, right? He already got a problem on the defensive line, and all them Bulldogs there. Jordan Davis, Carter, I think that's Said's cousin, right? Middle linebacker, they are stacked, and we all know that their offense is stacked as well, right? Number two for me is the Washington Commanders, and there's a couple of different ways you can address it. You can do a little free agency. I think you need a guard, and I'm going to say this name. I think you need a guard that has Brandon Sheriff's attitude. Nasty, wants to run the ball, and is looking forward to getting to that second level, right? Defensive side of the ball, we need what the Philadelphia Eagles have. We need people that will not be moved, that disrupt the quarterback right up the middle, right? That's it, because when you look at it, running backs feasted on the Washington Commanders this year. They feasted. You had like 7 running backs go over 100 yards, right? Unacceptable. You have to stop that. Then third, I'm literally going to go the Dallas Cowboys. They're not that far away. Their problem is their GM/owner. Once he decides to let his son handle things, the rest of the division is in trouble. That's when we'll be in trouble. So let's pray, all of us together, that Jerry Jones keeps running the team the way that he's running the team. And last, for me, is the New York Giants. And that's because this year, I'm still not sure that their GM and head coach will not be fired. You let Saquon Barkley go instead of and decided to keep what was the quarterback? What's the name? They cut him.
Danny Dimes.
You kept Danny Dimes, let Saquon go down the road, get behind a snowplow, and run for 2,000 yards. And if they win the Super Bowl, and I know it's supposed to be whoever the winner of the Super Bowl's day, but I would not be surprised if that Monday, that owner said, you know what? We finna break some news right now. You two go clean your office out. We give you trash bags, not boxes.
But is it too late to in the game? Because who's you got to look at who they can get now. Like, a lot of people have done that already.
Yeah, I mean, you think that with the New York Giants having the third pick, and you told Deion Sanders that he can come be the head coach, and you get a legit GM that knows what they're doing, and he can either get his son or Travis Hunter with the third pick, that he wouldn't jump on that? They have pieces. Mm-hmm. They got Malik Neighbors. They need a quarterback, right? They need a quarterback. They need somebody that knows what they're doing in that front office, that's not picking their players because the kid said this person's good on Madden, right? They need legit players. Yeah. So is it too late? I don't know, because Nick Saban he hasn't signed his contract.
True. But is that the key? Would he be the key to that organization?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, I feel like for the Giants being a number 4 for so long, I mean, in a sense, some people may feel like they ain't got nowhere to go but up. But, so I feel like anybody they bring in might help. But what you don't want to do is stay in that same spot. Like that something has to give.
Absolutely. Let's say this. You're watching First String Podcast. We are a football podcast. We love sports, right? We root for different teams. Lady A down the bottom, HR, and myself, we are Commanders fans. Say it over here is a Atlanta fan. Al's missing right now. He's not missing. We know where he is. He's on its way. He's fighting through traffic and things. He's a Cowboys fan. So we love sports, live sports. We talk good sports. So if you're here, we see the Philadelphia fans are in here. We see New York Giant fans in here. Of course, there are some Cowboy fans in here as well. This is the place for you. Your voice will be heard. We are respectful. We love to talk sports and have fun. All right. So go ahead, lady. Was it Lady A or Sid? One of you guys was about to say something.
I think it was Sid. No, I thought it was you, Sid.
I had just been talking about the.
I was laughing at the chat.
The chat is off the chain.
John said that if Jahan gets a ring before Terry, that will be a crime against good football, and I agree. Because never in a million years would I've thought that the Jahan would get a ring before Terry.
So we got a question here. I started this.
Jahan, but still.
No, it's not shade. I mean, I saw it the other day. I was like, man, Jahan is going to a Super Bowl before Terry, and he really hasn't contributed. So I saw this question from Louis earlier. He says, "Are you concerned with Dan Quinn regressing like he did in Atlanta after losing to the Eagles in the divisional round?" I guess I'm asking, do you think he's a flash in the pan coach? Sid, I'm gonna let you address this one, and then I'll follow up.
Right.
You talking about y'all team?
No, but he was in Atlanta. I mean, okay, but you've talked about some things. You've kind of answered that question before.
Yeah, I've asked this a couple times. Louis, the thing is they should not let Dan Quinn pick the groceries. My personal opinion, we still have some of Dan Quinn playing. Cornerback named Oliver, who continues to give up a big play from time to time for some unknown reason. Don't know why, but he's still on the roster. If you guys start drafting from Montana State, a bunch of players from Clemson, then it's Dan Quinn. Don't let Dan Quinn pick the groceries. He has the ability to coach up a great defense. Just don't let him buy the groceries.
Yeah.
If he whatever he tell you, he say I need a defensive end, let your GM go out and find one.
Yeah.
Or let Dan Quinn give you a few options who he may have seen, but you pick it. You don't let him pick it, because I've been there, I've lived that, and some of them guys aren't even in the league anymore. Some of the guys we drafted, they've gone to multiple teams and haven't been in the league anymore. So I mean that's all I need to say. I mean, just don't let him pick any players. They let him do the suggestion and coach the team. Defensively, he's going to work on defense, because defense gave up a lot of plays, a lot of yards late. So he's gonna find some players to plug those holes, so that you guys aren't giving up as many yards on the ground as you gave up this past year. But running backs are able to chew up different ground and pull those people in. One thing is, you guys have to draft at least another linebacker as well.
Yeah.
You have Louisville. I don't want to throw my boy out there, but Smile Monday, I'm sorry, University of Georgia. Toot my own horn. He fits the scheme that Dan Quinn likes. He's fast, he's physical, he's long. Now, whether or not he make it out of the top 15, but he fits Dan Quinn's squad. And then, especially since Dan Quinn is no longer in Georgia, he probably draft a Georgia player. I'm just gonna slide it out there.
Well, I would love that if he drafts the correct Georgia player. I would absolutely love that. So, Sid, let me say this: I do not believe that Dan Quinn is a flash in the pan. The difference between what happened in Atlanta is you lost your offensive coordinator. We have our offensive coordinator back. We may lose a couple of coaches. Davita Pritchard, QB coach. We may lose some of those guys. They may get promoted to passing game coordinator somewhere else, or offensive coordinator. We have some good coaches, and Dan Quinn has prepared for this. He said that. He said, we're not just going to develop players, but we're also going to develop our coaches. And I think that's really, really important, to have a head coach that's not afraid to have other qualified coaches on the team with you, so that you get the best out of your team.
Yeah. No, it wasn't just offensive coordinator. We back to the playoffs pick the following year. It was the defense that let us down.
Right. I'm just saying, you guys lost, Kyle Shanahan, and
we still went to the playoffs the following year.
Right. So I mean, I'm just saying, I think he learned from that to stack your coaching staff. like Josh Harris talks about winning along the edges, right? You win along the edges. So with that happening, winning along the edges is your coaching staff. I believe Joe Gibbs was probably one
You
of
know
the
what? I
first
think it's
coaches
like
to
5.
have like a bunch of assistants, right? To do things like that and make these guys develop the players on the side fields and things like that. We'll talk about that
Get your
with
buddy
Doc.
together, Lady A. And I hope
Huh?
the Shanahan, I hope the 49ers will ever win another playoff game.
Oh, here we go. So, fine,
That's a fine.
fine,
It's not the fine that you thought it was.
fine. So look, let me say this. I do feel like both of you are pointing out some good things. And to Jack, he was saying last time I heard Peter was the GM. He is, but in Atlanta, that's what Seth was referring to. In Atlanta, he was able to pick his own players and things like that, which a lot of times when you have a person coming in, so many people are focused on having the coach or the owner being a jack of all trades. Sometimes it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
On rare occasions, you'll be able to have somebody that can do this and do that, and they're successful in all that they do. But this is the NFL. You have the capability of building a good team, so that everyone has their lane, everyone knows their role, and kind of what Pick said, you'll take, if Dan can say, hey, I need this, then Peters can go and get that, and instead of Dan would have to identify what he needs, then go research and find that person, that sometimes that just doesn't work. I do feel like in Washington right now, the focus is building a team, building people around him so that you do have these coaching staffs. And then you have Peters, he's dedicated to finding who you need, finding the best person. It's good when that is his focus, instead of Dan, he would all he has to do is focus on coaching. That's it. Like, I need this piece, find me the best person for that. That's good. So I think that I don't think that it will be a flash in the pan. And I feel like the reason for that is because it's structured in a way that he won't repeat the same mistakes, because he's not the one that's responsible for everything. He's able to just focus on coaching. He's able to focus on the people that he has and building those people up. That's what he should be focusing on, and let someone else handle all that other dirty work. So I think
There
that
you go.
is a difference.
There you go. So today's February 1st. It's the beginning of Black History Month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do this. I don't believe I did it the right way, but I'm gonna spotlight. I mean, we're a sports podcast, okay? So for me, I think we should spotlight some absolutely strong African Americans in the world of sports.
Yeah.
Okay. And today, I would like to start this off, and we'll do this on our Saturday show. So each one of us will present someone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So today, I would like to present Doug Williams.
Aw.
Right. Doug
Really?
Williams.
I mean,
What?
he's in the history book said, "Don't you do that. That is my friend."
What said?
You cannot talk bad about Doug to me. He is
Oh,
in the
I
history
cannot
book.
wait to see who you present. Say, I cannot wait to see who you present.
He is
All
in
right.
the history books. We're about to have
Now,
the Super Bowl. Say that's why.
we are a week away from the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
right? Doug Williams is the first African American to win first African American quarterback to start and win a Super Bowl, right? And if you look at things right now, next Sunday, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, two African American quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
Doug Williams was from the SWAC. We all know that he went to Grambling. He was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he lit the NFL on fire. However, during this time, when they lost, he received a bunch of hate. He had to persevere through the things that he received, the slurs that he was called, receiving rotten watermelons in the mail. Some terrible things happened to him down in Florida. one of the positive things that happened to him in Florida was this guy named Gibbs knew about Doug Williams. And then, of course, you guys know Doug played in the UFL as well. Once that league folded, he brought him to Washington. He brought him to Washington, where Doug went on. And him and Jay Schrader battled to be the starting quarterback. Doug almost got traded. Joe Gibbs thought about it and told him, hey, Doug, you are definitely going to win the Super Bowl for me, so I'm not trading you. And, of course, that season, he backed up Jay Schrader. Jay Schrader got hurt. Doug goes on to have a heck of a playoffs. And in the Super Bowl, Doug slipped. And you guys will see these Super Bowl highlights. He slipped, tweaked his knee, gave himself up, dropped the ball, but he told everybody, I'm fine. Because he said there's no way that Jay Schrader is getting in this game. Doug Williams went on in that second quarter in the Washington Redskins to put up the highest number of points in a Super Bowl in a single quarter. Amazing person. But that's the high. There are a bunch of lows. Doug has paid his dues as far as scouting, developing, coaching in college. Please do your homework. My man grinded. He's an NFL lifer. He loves the game. As Mike H said, he taught PE when he called, when Gibbs called, he was teaching PE. You have to love this game to do what he did. I'm sorry. Yes, it's a Redskin, and I'm a Redskins fan, but I struggled back and forth between going with Jim Brown and Doug Williams. And if you guys will let me, I will present Jim Brown later at a later date. But I had to go with Doug Williams, so close to the Super Bowl. And I'm just saying, his story is amazing. His story is really, really amazing. And it just tells you to just keep fighting for what you believe and what you want. So that's why I went with Doug Williams. You guys got any questions?
Oh, but keep in mind, he's also a mentor to Jaden right now. So, you know, people are talking about Jaden as, oh, he's this rookie phenomenon. Doug is in his ear on the regular, encouraging him, giving him advice, things like that. So keep that in mind. So Doug is still relevant today.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know, the week before we played Detroit, the team was in a meeting and everybody had on number 17 Doug Williams t-shirts. He walks into the meeting, the whole team stands up and cheer for him, right? It was amazing. Walter Payton, not Skins. Walter Payton, not Skins. Hey, maybe someone else will do it. Maybe Sid will do Walter Payton. I really can't wait to see who Sid presents. Because he was like, Doug Williams. Oh, man, it's a rich kid.
No, those shade.
He was a true pioneer. I really do believe it. Yeah.
I love Doug. He's such a nice guy. If you guys ever get a chance to meet Doug, he's so nice. He's going to talk to the fans. He's going to take pictures. He's a stand-up guy.
And not to mention that actually his wife died during one of the off seasons too. So yeah, man, his story is amazing. So if you guys ever do see Doug Williams' story going through, make sure you guys stop, look at it, read it. It's amazing. True, genuine person. Say it. What you got, man?
Oh, you muted.
You muted right now. Say it.
You said you want me to go. Okay, that's fine.
Go ahead, ladies first. Go ahead, Lily.
You know, I got one. Okay, because a matter of fact, said you might really be happy about this because this gentleman is a Georgia boy. Okay, born in Cairo, Georgia, and his birthday was yesterday. I am talking about the one, the only Jack Roosevelt Robinson.
Yes.
Jackie Robinson. So on April 15th, 1947, he became the first African-American baseball player in the modern era. Jackie Robinson, kind of the same as what Pick was talking about with Doug. You know, he experienced so much racism. He had to endure. And in truth, the way he handled it with grace was just, it was almost like it just didn't affect him. It did, later on we found out, what was going on, and how that affected him mentally, but he still stood strong. And I want to say is his wife still living, Rachel?
I believe she is. I believe she is, but
Yeah, she's 102 years old. So Rachel Robinson she's still here with us. But Jackie Robinson, he signed with the Brooklyn Dodgers. April 15th is still to this day recognized as Jackie Robinson Day. So sometimes if you look at baseball on April 15th and like, why is everybody wearing 42?
42.
That's the reason why they are celebrating an icon, a great, and as someone said, a pioneer in baseball. Jackie Robinson, he's in the Hall of Fame. Actually, I want to say he's in there twice.
He's in the Negro League Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah. And so he has a movie about him, just to keep it short, because I can go on all day, but there's a movie about him called 42. Another great played him, and that was Chadwick Boseman. May he rest in peace. But I mean, Jackie Robinson, his story is absolutely remarkable. But they retired that number in baseball, the number 42. So the only time that you do see it is, of course, on a fans, but on the field is on April 15th. So he changed history. He was a pioneer. Let me see. I did have some, of course, I said he was born in Georgia, but then went over to Cali. So he grew up in Cali. And the reason that he was actually named after President Roosevelt. So Theodore Roosevelt, that's how he got his middle name. And he also excelled in tennis, basketball, track, and football. So he was an all-around athlete. So
there we go.
My nod to Jackie Robinson.
Yes. Sid, you got somebody?
Yeah, I'm good. I was gonna hit you with this other one, but I'm gonna roll back. I'm gonna go with a different one. I'm gonna go with Hammer and Hank Aaron.
Baseball.
He actually was a fan of Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson was his idol growing up. Hank Aaron held quite a few records. At the time he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1982. He actually came back to the Braves at one point and did his thing. I mean, he was the 3-time Gold Glove winner, 4-time home run leader. He had amazing power. And people didn't understand how he could produce his type power in these tight runs and these home runs. He won his World Series championship in 1957. So he accomplished a lot. But at the same time, he didn't start out in the Major League Baseball. He started out in the Negro League, where a minor league at the same time. He went to play in minor league as well before being called up. In his first time hold on, let me do my notes. Hold on. One of his first stints in Major League Baseball is when they learned of his power, because he was hitting home runs left and right, and they didn't understand how he was producing this type of power for someone who had not been in the league, in the major league, and was hitting the ball as well as he was. He was drafted by Milwaukee. For those who don't know, he was drafted by Milwaukee. And he ended up being, coming to Atlanta at a different point in his career. But at the time, his major league records were he had 2,297 career runs batted in. He had 1,477 career extra base hits. Those are records at the time. MLB records at the time. Some of these records have been eclipsed as we have these younger guys who are doing more, and they're playing more games than they did back then. So Hank Aaron is the guy I want to uplift for the day.
Not a bad choice. Listen, we went with Doug Williams. We went with Jackie Robinson and Hammer and Hank Aaron. We will do this next week as well. So hopefully we will not have the same person, right? But like I said, we all love sports, and why not just spotlight some of the historians in sports, from back in the past, and just honor them in a way that is really good, right? Okay, let's update you on what's coming up on Tuesday next week. We have Linnell Willingham coming to join us on First String Podcast. As you guys know, Linnell Willingham works at 106.7 The Fan and the Team 980. You can hear him on the radio. He's coming to join us. And then following Linnell, we have Jeff Walker, who works with B. Mitch and Finley. They are in New Orleans this week, but Jeff will be with us right after we talk to, right after Linnell. We'll have Jeff on. Jeff delivered some amazing week-to-week songs, and he also wrote our theme song, which is, our First String Podcast. Let's go. So we'll have Jeff on, and he'll talk to us about the year. Linnell will talk to us about what's next for the Commanders. And I'm telling you right now, you want to be here because Linnell's going to say something to make that chat move. That's what he does. Okay? So make sure you're with us on Tuesday, 7:30. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining. All right? Don't forget to like and subscribe to First String Podcast. Tell a friend about First String Podcast. Give us that good thumbs up because we really do enjoy sports, and we really do enjoy you all in the chat. Thank you so much. Say it. Did we cover it all?
We hit it all.
All right. Shout out to my son, United States Air Force. First String Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Tell them, say it.
Go Dogs.
Raise hell.
It's wartime, baby. This what you signed up for. This what we worked hard for. You for. Y'all the first string. Y'all gotta go set the tone now. Hey, let's go. Lace them up. It's the First String Podcast show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the First String Podcast show. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Cause it's time for the First String Podcast show. Hey, let's go. Lace them up. It's the First String Podcast show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the First String Podcast show. Imagine talking sports, having fun with the fam. At a starting lineup, First String is what you have. An entertaining stream with the Pro Bowl cast. When the viewers chime in, they gon' answer what you ask. Representing for the Queens, yeah, we got Lady A. A super knowledgeable woman who can break down any play. Said from the South, so he rep GA. The Falcons, the Bulldogs, the whole Peach State. Drunk Uncle Al, only way you can describe him. Every time he crack the mic, you know he gon' be wildin'. Last but not least, it's my man Toothpick. Commanders is a squad and he the captain of the ship. So if you feel the vibe, go